Okay. 4 years ago, 4 years ago, I made a video, a ranting video about Lily Lou, who I learned about, was doing a lot of YouTube. YouTube was very famous to me at that time. Still is. I mean, I can't deny that. I check into YouTube a lot more now. Music, and actually tattoo content. Lifestyle stuff. Kind of like now I like building out vehicles, like living out of vehicles are kind of things that I look at now. I have a Dodge Journey that, like not like building out like van life type stuff, but definitely like camp life, like something that I can take, like, and put like a bed in easily. So those are the things that I was doing, but like the reality is that in the last like less than a month, I actually went to Psyland. I got a tattoo. That wasn't my goal 4 years ago when I made the video. My video was sort of like just to connect and express my interest in what was going on with the content that was being created by Lily Lou at the time. But that content always included Psyland. It always included tattoos. I talked about tattoos. I talked about my dreads, which now are so much longer. I only have 3. I think at the time I had more, but 2 blended together. This one was the 2 that blended together, and this one I attached. Someone at a bar one night saw my dreads, and it was like, hey, I'm going into the service. I think I don't remember everything about it, but they were going into like the National Guard, or they were going into like firefighting, and they had to cut their dreads off, and they said that tradition is that if you have to cut your dreads, you give them to other people with dreads. So this person gave me this, and I had it in my pocket and the next day, and I was like, what am I going to do with this? So I had tied it in. I tied it into these these 2 dreads. So you could kind of see it there. It always looked kind of awkward. There was like these bulbous things, and I was like, when I was at Psyland, I saw some of the photos, and I was like, oh, that looks really weird. So I kind of trimmed that. I don't like, I'm still really bad at these things, so whatever. But the weird thing was that when I was on the table getting my tattoo, there was a dread hanging there, and, like I don't have a space for that. So I think I still think I made the right decision. I don't know if it's ethical or like the thing to do, like if she was expecting me to do that, I don't know. Weirdly, it blends super nice, like with my own color. So with that, my plan currently is, because my beard is graying, I'm just gonna dye them gray. But more this video is like a return to 4 years ago of Lily Lou and me and my trip to Psyland and all the stuff, that I acquired while I was there. So I basically was like, I had moved to Nashville from Connecticut. I graduated. I had this beautiful photo of me shaking the dean's hand and getting my diploma. And I was like, oh, it would be great. It would be great to get work done on my arm, to kind of anchor that moment. So I fired off an email to Psyland and I was like, hey, look, with that photo, I want to do this. I included some other stuff that I wanted to do for my own personal well-being. And I didn't hear anything for a while, and I was like, oh, well, I don't know, I'm too meager or whatever. And so I kind of forgot about it. And then one day I got an email from one of the artists there. And I was like, oh, okay. And they were like, they gave me a rundown of what I should expect, and what I should do. So I I had these big ideas and I sent them in, and the artist was like, well, since you only want a sleeve, I don't do motifs on sleeves. I wanted to do, Klaus Kinski's Nosferatu, which in my opinion is one of the most fantastic pieces of acting that you can watch. There's a Nosferatu coming out. Curious. I don't know. Klaus Kinski gets major grades from me. We'll see. But and so I was like, okay, so this is what I want. I want a sleeve. Then he said, I only do a sleeve. It'll be this, this, and this. And I was like, okay, let's set it up. I can't come right away. I actually set it up for way later. Months and months and months. I think it actually even surprised them, what I was considering. And it was agreed upon. And so I bought my ticket right away. And then, kind of just took the confirmation that the artist gave me and the dates. And time went on, blah, 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 budgeted, flowed my money towards it. And then in November, this past November, flew into the airport close by, drove down with a car, which was cool. I thought it was cool. The confirmation for the rental car was for a Jeep, and I made them assure me that it was going to be a automatic. I can drive standard, but I don't do it a lot, so it would be kind of stressful. So I wanted it to be that. And then when I got there, they were like, oh, we have this Ford for you. And I was like, oh, I was kind of excited about the Jeep. They're like, oh, we'll give you the Jeep then. And then when I got to Psyland, there was this, I don't want to say it was like a Psyland Jeep, but it was, it was like a Jeep for the place. And I was like, oh, I'm glad I did that. That was kind of cool. and kind of fumbled my way around, found my artist, came down. I was like, hey, I'm here. And they were like, oh, do you want to rest? Like, do you want to start tomorrow? And I was like, no, like, no, I actually don't. I just like, I kind of, like, I had adrenaline from the whole trip and everything, and mostly customs coming through was like a huge line, and I was like, what am I gonna do? I don't know anybody here. Let me just go get some food, and we could start today. And so arrived, and a session was set up. The first session, we had already agreed that it was going to be 2 sessions and a day of healing. And that was it. It's going to be a long video, I guess. I hope that's all right. But whoever's watching, who's watching? So I went, there was another American there at the time, which I don't think mattered. Like, I already know enough from the content that everybody speaks English, but this American, he was from Colorado. I don't remember his name. I have not connected with him. But he went with me to show me the closest store, and he told me some cool things, he didn't know the work that I was getting. I don't think that matters, but he's like, oh, when you get back to America, it's going to be like, oh, you got this great work, from Psyland. And I was like, okay, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but we'll see. People are weird, I don't know what that means. But I appreciated his company and his help, and got back, and Basti was setting up. Dorsch was there with Nicholas. To me, that was like something that I've never done, like, really before, like walking into like a YouTube world, like where I've been watching content for a long time, and then all of a sudden I'm there. I thought that was special in its own right. And I gave my money, we paid or whatever, and I was on the table. The first day was all, so I will show what I have. That was weird what fell there. So I got this full sleeve. Sat down, looked at some patterns. I had already told him that I was going with swastikas and black, and I was always calling it scribble. It's Kritzel Kratzel. I could say, I'm like, yeah, Kritzel Kratzel, but I don't know exactly what that means. But that's what I have. So it's those 2 things. No motif. I had a lot of reasons for doing what I did, and 2 days. 2 days is, I got this. The first day was all of like the black work and the pattern, which is one of Lily Blue's patterns, and then the Kritzel Kratzel, which I like. So see, like, I like seeing these things like this is why this video could be super long. Like, I I see the value sort of. I don't have a lot of uh, like academic study in anthropology. I do have art history study academically, and I know that this swastika has been used in a lot of cultures, but um like 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 early artists probably started with lines, like just like blah blah, like maybe dots, maybe different things like that they did the hand, like, and then they got more complex, and I see that in this work, like the progress from um simple structures to more complex structures, and I like that a lot. I feel like I want to put my clothes back on, but I love this tattoo. uh I love the deep black. I spoke recently, like this is kind of like, to me, like I'm all black, like every tattoo on my body is black. It wasn't always that way. I had some color here, uh, and I endeavored to do uh, a cover up, and because I had a lot of a really large black space in the original tattoo, um, that the artist didn't really know what to do, so I said, just like make it like a wall, like put the motif here, and we'll do things, and keep going, and like, the shitty tattoos, like, just came along the way, you know uh 4 years, it feels like a long time, like, but when I got there, and the whole thing, um it was super special to me. uh Unfortunately, my decision to get the the swastika pattern, like, rapidly cost me friends. I shouldn't say friends, one friend, uh who immediately determined that I couldn't uh they couldn't associate with me. um I don't do like segmented content, but I love the pattern work. That was what I asked for. That's what I chose. But the kritzel kratzel that is here, and like on my forearm, and especially up on top, is really cool. Um, I was super sober for the whole time I was at Psyland. You know, I've never been somebody that, like, I have had drunken tattoos, but that, you know, it was never something that like I thought like, oh great, okay. They were really small, like I should have put my shirt on. There's like a 3-letter word that I had here where I was really drunk. But the black work, the really like patterned work before the Kritzel Kratzel was, it was not the worst. I have a damage. I have a pinky here that was smashed by a hammer when I was very small, and the damage was so severe that I had to have repeat procedures to remove rot because the nerve damage was so bad that the flesh was rotting. That was the worst pain. This the whole arm tattoo would be the second. I had to, there were times where I was like, I had to look at the tattoo gun to make sure that, like, that is a really cool pattern. Like, you know, I get it, you know. And the elbow, which I thought would be like super not painful, was really painful. But there were times where I had to look at the gun to make sure like it wasn't smoking, because I believed like I wasn't getting tattooed, I was like being burned. And oh, you could see it. I hallucinated like 3 times during the process, and weirdly, like one time, like I wasn't hallucinating when I said it, but I was like, oh, it's a frog, and everybody heard me. Or I said, I see frogs, and everybody heard me, and then I started hallucinating. But other times, like the room elongated and kind of like tilted, and then another time I was just kind of like woozy, and everything was like really weird. But day 1 was the longest, and that was when all of like the pattern work was done. And then the next day was like Kritzel Kratzel, and it hurt, and I was whimpering, and something that I did a lot was like I would, when what I've learned to be called like touch sensitivity like got so bad, I would like push my fingers in, like kind of like a small tourniquet or something, but I would get in the way of the gun, and like the artist was like pushing me away. And that's a testament, something that I think is a testament to the professionalism that I experienced, was that I stayed on the table. Like it was really hard to have this work done. And the second day, like all the artist told me was like, go wash it twice, and wash it in the morning before you come downstairs. And I said to that, I was like, I'm afraid, you know, like I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to get through this. And they were like, I understand. And then we just started. And I'm somebody that I'm very impatient. I appreciate efficiency, and this is such a large work, and then 2 days to have something done like that, it was great. Like I said, like this that I showed earlier, I'm sorry I'm not showing it now, was done like now I'm super annoyed with myself for putting the shirt back on. But this was done in 2 sessions. Half was done and then like 2 weeks later I came back to get the second half done, and I found that so annoying. Like, it didn't make anything better. Like 2 weeks later to me, like was not like, it was still like it was still super sensitive, and I don't know, it wasn't even that long of a day. And like I appreciate the artist. The artist has a really cool backstory. But like really was focused on like holiday, and like if it's too bad you can come back, and like it was so boring. Like, and that's what I like, that's why I think like getting it done, and I know, I mean, like I was surprised by my own pain tolerance, I guess. I feel proud, but you know, it could be done. Like, I don't know. And something that was really cool, like, you know, I'm sort of like older in my life, and I've done like a lot of like self-hypnosis stuff where they tell you to like tense your body and relax, and tense your body and relax. And like this process was like that on steroids. And it, like, I feel like I'm still healing. Maybe I'm physically, I don't know. I don't think I'm physically still healed, but that process of like you, so if you've ever done that self-hypnosis where you tense your body, you can't do it any more severe than when you're having something like this done. So I feel like I'm gonna be like really like in the future calm, and I already am. It was transformative. It transformed my life, and I kind of expected that. It like, if you watch a lot of Lily Lou's content, and especially like about tattooing and body modifications, that is there. And you might want to think that it's like, oh, it's because like, oh, suddenly your arm is black. It's true. Like, when I feel sexier, I feel younger because of it, but the transformation came from like enduring what I endured to have it done. Anyway, oh, but what I did do, so if you refer to my second video where I talked about many things, but I got my beanie. I'm gonna go get it. Woo! Yeah. And actually, the most stressful thing that happened while I was there was knowing that they had my beanie, but like coordinating with somebody in the merch shop to get it, and thinking like, oh, that might not happen. But it did. And I don't know. If it's a problem that I'm not like mentioning names, I just don't care to. I literally don't care to. And to be honest, I've worn this out a lot. I lost one friend. I lost a friend immediately because of the swastika design, and it is what it is. I knew it was happening. They were kind of like, I don't even care, but that's what happened. And then another person who knew I was going to get some major work asked to see it, and then immediately reacted. But then I explained it. The first person never asked me a question. The first person simply shut the door. That's what it was. I had done a bad thing. And you know, when you're dealing with symbolism, you have to, I guess you don't have to, but you should be open to communication and asking questions, and I guess that goes with a lot of things. But that person didn't, and it simply shut the door on our friendship. And I am still kind of too fatigued from the experience, to battle about it. My frogs are super important. I love my frogs. And that's me. I don't know. So, I don't know. If you see this video, and you have the wherewithal enough to learn about Psyland, you should go and either visit the merch store or get some work done. I don't know. I don't think that you have to get like, if you're concerned about that type of thing. You might. I saw some other individuals getting like less work done, but this is the work I got done, and it suits my needs, and I am boring myself, so